About 10 minutes, that's how long it took for an ambulance to get to a patient who was less than half a mile away. We've learned this goes back to a Dorchester County problem that we first told you about nearly 6 months ago. Our Amy Russo spoke with a man who made that call for help and took concerns back to EMS. It's a story you'll only see on ABC News 4.
The man that made that 911 call is one of our staff members. He's sharing his experience but wants to remain anonymous about what he says happened. Does this scare you for the future?
Yeah, a little. What if somebody who really desperately needs an ambulance, what would that person be able to do?
His heart rate skyrocketed, so the Somerville man called for help just to be safe.
They got me in the back of the ambulance, checked me out. And when I was leaving, I remember them saying, like, we're having some staffing issues right now.
That's nothing new. The question now, why hasn't it been addressed?
6 months ago, we talked about a raise that could be coming for EMS workers at the Dorchester County EMS. Has that happened yet?
Yes, ma'am, it has. We implemented a very significant raise for our EMS employees.
That's Dorchester County EMS Director Brian Watts. He says raises went out starting July 1st. Starting pay for a paramedic jumped to just under $24 an hour. For an EMT, it's over $17. Watts says the pay increase has helped fill roles and retain workers, but they're still down about 16 people.
So what kind of impacts is the lack of EMS workers having on the Dorchester County EMS?
Well, like I said, it is increasing response times. It does mean that there's less units available. We are working the employees that we have harder than we should.
He says the average response time in November is about 9 minutes and 15 seconds.
We want to make 9 out of 10 calls in less than 9 minutes, and we make about 74% of those.
Watts says the department is now focusing on other ways to recruit.
By going through our associations and our national association, we're using social media. We are doing radio spots. We just started a campaign throughout the county that is focusing on public safety.
This is something you want to be seen fixed sooner than later.
Yes, because again, I looked at it as a blip, but if it becomes a trend, then we're going to have more issues down the road.
Truck trouble in the Lowcountry. A shortage of truck drivers on the road could put a dent in your holiday plans. Floriana Boardman is working for you to find out why there aren't more local drivers and how it could impact you.
Some estimates show a historic high when it comes to truck driver openings. We're talking 80,000 drivers needed. I spoke to one Lowcountry trucking company today to see exactly why this is happening.
So we're in a driver shortage before COVID hit, and now we've got more freight than we can move with people. So hiring drivers has become a huge challenge for us.
Stephen Hupp is a terminal manager for Estes Express Lines. He explained the tactics they're taking to recruit more drivers.
We've raised our starting rates, we've offered bonuses, and done things like that to try and get people to come drive. But in today's day and age of working at home, a lot of people don't want to spend 12 hours behind the wheel of a tractor.
Hepp says drivers are making upwards of $70,000 to $80,000 a year at Estes and with other shipping companies. He thinks the problem has to do with commercial driver's licenses. Not enough people have them, so that means fewer available truck drivers.
Old Dominion Freight Lines is one of our large competitors, FedEx Freight, UPS Freight, Southeastern Freight Lines. Those are all carriers who, before COVID-19, we were pretty much at the same pay rate as them. And now everyone's kind of being sporadic and jumping around to try and recruit drivers.
Mike Wilkins is a pickup and delivery driver for Estes. He says many drivers are choosing to double up on shifts, but it comes at a cost.
It's putting a toll on them with the longer hours. I mean, some of them are a lot older. We got guys in retirement age, and it just puts a lot more stress on the younger guys because they pretty much get the harder work of this.
As for the supply chain,
I think this year around Christmas, we're going to see a low stock, a shortage, and a big backlog on things that people want to buy for their children or families for Christmas. So we're telling people to buy early, buy now, because it may not be there in December.
Tessa, they show us that there are now more open jobs in the state than there are unemployed people. Now look at this chart behind me. It shows that ever since about mid-April, where you see this big spike of unemployment claims, they've been dropping pretty steadily. But it wasn't until around here at the end of October that those open jobs numbers passed the unemployed. So I asked a state business leader why that is and why people still aren't taking these jobs.
But for workforce challenges and supply chain challenges and the ongoing issues related to COVID, the economy is really being held back.
Openings no one is filling. Right now, there are 98,000 unemployed South Carolinians and 102,000 open jobs in the state. South Carolina Chamber of Commerce President and CEO Bob Morgan says it's the demand for services that keep creating more job openings. As a result, businesses need more help. He thinks the solution may be to look outside of the state.
We need to continue to do everything we can to make South Carolina attractive for other people. The macro trend of people moving from the Northeast and Midwest to the Sun Belt is real. It's been accelerated by the pandemic. We don't want to just get our fair share of those folks. We want to get more than our fair share because we have jobs.
Morgan says those outsiders could be critical since the state is already employing more people now than it was pre-pandemic. He believes another problem could make things even worse, the supply chain crisis.
As employers we may be getting closer to when we can be fully reopened. There may be shutdowns related to supply chain. You can't make things and put people to work if you don't have the products that produce whatever it is they're manufacturing.
But if you're looking for your own job, according to the State Department of Employment and Workforce, the best way may not be to walk into a business with a help wanted sign posted on the door. It may actually be here. They say you simply should log onto your computer and click on their website. Here you can either log into your My Benefits portal or search for a job as a guest. There are tens of thousands of unique job openings on the website. Morgan thinks this lack of employment is far from over, though.
This is going to be with us long after the pandemic is gone.